Everyone in Maple Ridge knew Mr. Albert Crane, not because they liked him, but because they feared the cold clink of his cane and the chill in his words. Albert lived alone in a creaky Victorian house at the edge of town, surrounded by iron gates and untamed weeds. Rumors swirled like autumn leaves, that he had gold bricks under his floorboards, that he hadn't spoken to a soul in years, and that he had once sued a child for picking apples off his tree. What was certain, however, was that Albert Crane loved one thing above all: his silver bowl. It sat in the center of his dining table, always gleaming as if it held the very moonlight. Etched with ornate vines and lions, the bowl had belonged to his mother, the only person he had ever truly loved. After her passing, Albert had locked away his heart, and the bowl became his world. He polished it each morning, wrapped it in velvet each night, and never let anyone touch it. One bitter winter morning, Albert awoke to find his furnace dead and the pipes frozen. Determined not to spend a cent on repairs, he wrapped himself in layers, boiled water on the stove, and went about his day grumbling. As he placed the silver bowl before him, ready to admire it with his morning tea, a loud knock shattered the stillness. Opening the door just an inch, Albert squinted out. A boy no older than 9, bundled in a coat far too large for him, stood there holding a torn cardboard sign that read, "Please help. Sick mom. No food." Albert sneered. "Go away. I don't give to beggars." But before he could slam the door, the boy added, I saw your silver bowl through the window. It's beautiful. My mom had one like it once, before everything changed." That caught him off guard. Later that day, the bowl didn't shine as it usually did. Albert tried polishing it again and again, but the boy's words clung to him like the chill in the air. The next day, the boy returned. This time, he had no sign, just a look of silent desperation. Albert didn't speak. He walked inside, returning a moment later with a slice of bread and a coat that once belonged to his father. Without a word, he handed both to the boy, who accepted them with wide, grateful eyes. Over the next week, the boy returned, not to beg, but to shovel Albert's walkway, stack wood, and talk. His name was Mateo. His mother worked 2 jobs, but a recent illness had left her bedridden. They were barely scraping by. And slowly, something began to thaw, not outside, but within Albert. One snowy afternoon, Albert noticed a crack forming along the edge of the silver bowl. Panic surged. He cradled it like a wounded bird, rushing to the hardware store to find a fix. But nothing worked. The crack remained. That night, for the first time in decades, Albert sat in silence without polishing the bowl. He stared at the flaw, then at the empty seat across the table where his mother once sat. A tear rolled down his cheek. The next morning, Mateo didn't come. Nor the next. Concerned, Albert trudged through the snow to the shabby apartment complex the boy had mentioned. He knocked on the door of apartment 3B. Mateo's mother answered, frail and surprised. "Mr. Crane," she rasped. "You walked here." He nodded awkwardly. "I brought something for you both." He stepped inside, opened the cloth bundle, and placed the silver bowl, still cracked, on the table. Mateo gasped. "You're giving us the bowl?" "It's just a thing," Albert said softly. "But it meant something, and I'd rather it mean something to you now than to no one later." The mother wept. Mateo hugged him tightly. In the days that followed, Albert paid for her medication. He hired a repairman for her heater. And when spring came, he hosted a picnic for the neighborhood. It was the first time anyone had seen the old iron gates wide open. The silver bowl, crack and all, sat proudly in the center of the table, filled not with coins or treasures, but with fresh apples, ripe and sweet.